Hello, everybody. Good evening. I hope you are feeling well. My name is André, and I'm about to describe to you a chain of events that will unfold tonight. But before, we will have to reorganize this space into a new territory. To the north, we see a black curtain, and behind it, there is a wall, the entrance lobby of this theater, stairs, access ramps, and the street. Further north, there are tower blocks, public baths, car parks, ticket windows, reinforced doors, the anonymous, hotel bedrooms, factories, prisons, asylums, law courts, banks, schools, museums, and supermarkets. Towards south, behind another black curtain, there is a considerable extension of residential areas, universities, and different complexes for scientific research. Further south, there are other cities and regions, such as the English colony, Algarve, and then there is the sea. And beyond the sea, there is another continent, Africa. To the east, there are warehouses and factories with raw materials for food and textile industries stored in enclosed spaces. There are also manufactured goods, dumpsters, landfills, highways, and train tunnels that cross mountains. And to the west, there is a group of roughly, about 62 people that form an impressive amount of tongues, nails, eyes, teeth, arms, legs, fingers and toes, bones, muscles, organs, soft tissues and skin. Through air, blood, saliva, semen, sweat, tears, vomit, and urine are passing through. After, there is a wall. And after the wall, there's everything else. Towards zenith, we see stage lights, sound speakers, and electrical cables hanged on a grid, which is suspended on the ceiling. And then there are birds, clouds, airplanes, and satellites. There is gas, other planets, other bodies, other galaxies, black holes, and black matter. And towards nadir, there is vertigo, this floor, the foundations of this building, sewers, lines of electricity, gas, telephone, and water mains. Underneath the crust, there are deposited minerals, oil, coal, nuclear waste, and a dense, heavy, heavy rock.
direction. He's tall, limp, and seems to move with heavy arms and nothing on his hands. And we are going to walk in his direction and meet him halfway through in a warehouse. And this specific warehouse was formerly a car depository, being permanently closed in 1992. So, as we enter the building, we realize that this warehouse is totally empty and we feel the dust in the air. We cross the white space until we find a flight of stairs in the back, which we start to climb. And as we climb the steps, we feel the smell of the space changing. When we arrive to the top of the stairs, we finally enter the last floor of this building and come across an attic, all made out of wood. And on its northern side, we are going to sit on the cold floor and wait for the man. The southeastern man continues to walk. He has just entered the warehouse where we are, and he is about to climb the flight of stairs. He climbs 2 steps at a time, faster and faster, his breath becoming shorter and shorter. He slows down for an instant, just to look at a bug passing by, and then he continues. When he arrives at the top of the stairs, he waits for a few seconds at the door. Finally enter the small wooden attic. As he heads to the opposite wall, he stares into our eyes and stands in silence before us. It is then that he prepares himself for what will happen next.
With his right hand, he takes out of his right pocket a small bottle of gasoline, which he opens with his mouth, pouring the liquid on top of himself as if it was water. His left hand looks for a match inside the other pocket, which he gently lights, staring into the flame until it is completely extinguished. He still takes another match, lights it up, and with closed eyes, he lets it fall on his wet feet, as if it was a game of hazard. The space is slowly filled with the sound of flames.
the space becomes silent again. And after a few minutes, the tall, limp, and flaming man opens his eyes and begins to move, crossing the attic door towards the stairs, going down step by step, until reaching the entrance of the building and leaving the warehouse into the open street. And we all rush to the windows to watch him go. He walks far away towards northeast, the blazing and fiery body moving in the direction of the unknown. And he never collapses. He just vanishes.
As time passes by, it seems that we have totally forgotten about the tall, limp, and flaming man. We are now going to depart and leave this attic. And for that, we will need to take a lift to go down. As we approach the metal doors of this freight elevator, we understand that it is a very small structure. Like this. And I have no clue how all of us are going to fit inside such a small space. But we will. And so we all enter this elevator one by one until the whole group is inside. The sliding grids are locked and the metal doors are shut in front of us. And this is when we realize that this elevator has no light. We are in total darkness.
The place is completely packed. We can't see anything. And the floor is quite slippery. We are leaning on each other and pressing against each other's skin and flesh. We sense our cavities expanding while we share the same oxygen. Our hands start to sweat in discomfort while we are so close, touching people we have never seen before. Finally, the elevator begins to descend, going down, lower and lower, until we lose the notion of time and space. When the oxygen starts to seem fewer and fewer, we finally stop and realize that we have reached a new level. And that is when the doors are open and we can finally reach for some light and oxygen. By leaving this elevator, we have the notion that something will never be the same. For sure, there's a part of us that has been left behind. As we look at each other, we realize that we are not the same people anymore. Our bodies have changed. Our faces have changed. Even our heights and age. Our audition is different, almost as a lie. And it seems like we people are now assembled into a new monstrous body. With spiny backbones and a collective leg. A body made out of rests of buildings and dust. Where our blood vessels are run by blood, but also petrol and rests of seawater. Our eyes, multiple, sprawl its electricity for miles.
Facing northwest, a big avenue opens up in front of us. It's full of sun. We start walking down the street with this new collective body. Treading every part of the asphalt with all our weight. And letting the wind balance our strange shape. We walk for a kilometer or more. The last road junction of this sunny and bright avenue opens onto a big and wonderful garden. A centenary place filled with big trees and small bushes, where rats, cats, bats, dogs, squirrels, and birds live. In this garden, there is also a natural phenomenon resulting from exceptional atmospheric conditions. A southwestern wind that sweeps strongly, traveling thousands of miles, descending from the farthest mountain along the western valleys and river. It crosses the city center and finally reaches this garden, carrying with it radioactive dust, seeds, and small birds. This wind, it spreads through all corners, animating trees and buildings as it passes by. Several people from the city come to this garden to contemplate the strong breeze. Well, at first, it was just for fun. But after a few months, the possibility of flight was verified. And therefore, there are those who come here to practice exercises of projection and suspension. 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 Projection. There were even those who built devices in order to absorb the falls. And this parachute is a prototype made of a very thin layer of nanoparticles of plastic and human skin. This device needs to be activated before use, so that it can be intercepted by the wind while its temperature increases. And this is one of the possible ways to ensure it. When the parachute is ready to be used, we know what we need to do. We just need to go down, stay close to the ground, and wait. Seconds before we are thrown into ionosphere, we let ourselves go.